Hey guys, JoeFan82 here, and today I'm looking at the True Heroes Sentinel 1 Mobile Helicopter Base. Now this is a look at the front of the packaging. As you can see, you can clearly see everything that's included in the box. You've got the helicopter base, the helicopter itself, the command center, 3 figures, and ATV. There's some nice artwork on the bottom left. It says Sentinel 1. On the bottom right, they show you how you can have everything set up. This is for ages 3 and up. It has lights and sounds, and you need batteries. Let's take a look at the back of the package. It says Sentinel 1, the leaders of the free world have joined together, forming Sentinel 1, an elite top secret special forces unit comprised of the top military operatives in the world. So you can just substitute Sentinel 1 with G.I. Joe and it's pretty much the same thing. It tells you the contents of the box: 1 helibase, 1 helicopter, 1 ATV, 1 command tower, 3 figures, 1 playmat, and accessories. And there's 2 promo images for their other products, the AB-115 Shark plane and the Freedom Force helicopter, which looks like it also includes a Jeep. I do like this image on the top of the box. It has the helicopter and everything else in sort of an action scene with an explosion going on behind it. It looks pretty cool. So here is everything out of the package. You've got the helicopter pad, the helicopter, the bridge, the command center, the ATV, 3 figures, and the playmat. Let's talk about the helipad first. It's got some nice molding on here. It's got obviously the H. The lights and sounds work really good. Here's the first one. And so that's it. It's just those 2 options. It's got some yellow decals here, Sentinel 1 decal here, Sentinel 1, and S1 for Sentinel 1. This decal, for some reason, seems to be coming up at the edge. It comes with 3 sets of stairs here that they act as stairs and as the legs for the platform to stand on. It works great with smaller aircraft like the helicopter it came with, or the Ghost Hawk, the G.I. Joe Ghost Hawk. However, if you try to put something with a little more size, such as the Tomahawk or the Eagle Hawk helicopter, it just doesn't work out. It's a little too small for those larger aircraft, so I would stick with the smaller stuff. This is the command center it comes with. It has some nice molding, nice molded detail on here. It's got a searchlight. It's just painted silver. It's got a roof here. It's got 2 sections of leaves. These are a softer, more pliable plastic than the rest of the piece. There's the tree trunk there. There is some detail of foliage on the base that's not painted. It's just the solid brown, which is a little disappointing. In the back, it's hollow, and it has this ladder that they use to climb up. Whoa. There we go. It has this ladder that they can use to climb up, and then this set of stairs, which really a set of stairs, as you can see the angle there. I don't know why they couldn't just move it out a little bit. The one complaint I would have about this piece is that it looks a little too much like a treehouse and not something a military command would use. I was showing this stuff to my son, he's 4, and he called it a treehouse without knowing what it was. So there you go. And the other piece that it comes with is the bridge that connects the command center to the helicopter pad. It has some nice molding on here. You can see the wood, the rope. It's just a shame that it's this orange color and not painted more realistically. And it connects very easily between the two pieces. Go ahead and show you. One end connects there, and then the other end just slides onto a tab there. So there you go. Now let's take a look at the helicopter. It has some nice molded details. The plastic is pretty much the same thing you would find on a G.I. Joe product. It feels the same to me. I'm not sure what this is, but there it is. The top propeller or rotor is a little loose, and there's no way that I can see to tighten it because the other end is buried in there. There's no access to it. But it still works. It's just a little loose. It has a missile here that can pop off like that. Not easily. You have to kind of work it, but it does come off. It has a orange translucent windshield. It has this gun in the front that can spin around. No door on this side of the cockpit. It does have a hook back here if you want to put something on a hook. It has the Sentinel 1 logo on the back here. This is painted on, it's not a sticker. So if you want it to not say Sentinel 1, you're going to have to paint over that with something. It has a functioning propeller on the back. This part looks like it was intended to be a light and sound effect similar to what's on the helicopter pad, but for some reason it's not functioning. There's no buttons here, there's just plastic in there, and this does not light up. On the other side you can see a compartment that would be used for batteries, but there's nothing there. I don't know if it seems like it was intended like that, and somewhere along the way there was a budget cut or something and they just didn't include that. Some nice engine detail here. I like the gray camo pattern. Seems like this vehicle could be used for either Joe or Cobra. This little latch here opens up, and this kind of comes out like this, and the gun turns around. And I was really surprised it has this bullets that can go in and out. Nice detail on the gun. Can go all the way around. Can move around like this. And once you're done, it slides right back in. It also comes with this what looks like chains that are held together as some way to climb up and get into the post, which is a little odd considering there's a ladder on the other side. This has some holes in it. I mean, it's sculpted well, the detail is nice, and if you try to attach it to the front here, there's nothing really sturdy for it to hold on to. And if you put a figure on it, it's just going to fall over. So I'm not really sure what the point of this piece is. This came with a playmat, which is a thin piece of plastic. It's got a sort of a jungle beach image here, and then a body of water over here, and it looks very nice. I don't really have much to say about it. I'm not used to having something like this included in toys like this, so I guess it's okay. If you're setting up a diorama or something, it might look nice. Here is the ATV. Let's take a closer look at it. It's got a nice little camo painted on here. It does have a painted on S1 logo, so if you don't like that, you're going to have to paint over it yourself. It's not a sticker. Some nice engine detail there. It has 4 plastic wheels. It's a rotating gun on the front. A black searchlight, solid black, headlight. Would have been nice to be a different color. This is all one piece of black plastic here. This side is pretty much the same as the other side, except no S1 logo, Sentinel 1 logo. The handlebars do turn. This part back here will flip down like that. I like to just, I don't know why you would want to keep it down like that. Nobody can ride on it in that way, so I just keep it up. Again, some more paint apps on this would have helped it out. It's kind of plain. It's got an antenna here. These are like some little molded lights. In the back is very plain, nothing here. So if you've got extra G.I. Joe or Cobra stickers, there's plenty of space on like the back of this to throw some stickers on. Or maybe if you have something that will cover this up, you can, if you feel like doing that. Or you can just use the Sentinel 1 logo as a sub-team of G.I. Joe or Cobra if you want. So that's the closer look at the ATV. Here we have the figures lined up for comparison. As you can see, they are similar in scale with the vintage and modern G.I. Joe figures. The True Heroes figures are a little bit thicker as far as sculpt goes. And let's take a closer look at each one of them. These two have 11 points of articulation, while this guy has 9. For some reason, this guy does not have a articulated wrist, so I'm not sure why that is. But these two do. Let's look at this guy first. He has his name on his vest here. It says Steel. The other two do not have a name. They are nameless. But the sculpting, the detail is nice. Some nice detail on here. Some nice paint apps on the camo. He's got a nice sculpt on the face. Out of the 3 figures, this one has the best paint apps. Everything is pretty nicely detailed here. He's got a walkie-talkie on the back. Looks like he's got some medals here. He's got a molded in gun here. Some pouches and things on his vest. He's got some black gloves, sunglasses. I'm not sure if you can tell what his rank is based off of what you see here. He's got the Sentinel 1 logo right there. Let's look at his articulation. He has a neck joint where he can turn left to right. He's got shoulder joints that he can do a 360. They cannot bend outwards. He's got elbow articulation that can bend almost, it can bend up 90 degrees, but it can't bend all the way out 90 degrees. He's got a straight leg crotch joint, and he has knee joints, just a standard knee joint. He is standing kind of with a wide stance there, so when you pair him up with a vintage figure, he's a little bit taller, and if he was standing up straight, he would be even taller. So he's about as tall as a modern G.I. Joe figure. This guy looks like he's the pilot of the helicopter. The paint apps on this guy are pretty nice, except for where it counts most, on the face. You can see there's a little sloppy around here on the goggles for the helmet. Otherwise, it's pretty nice. Camo here. S1 Sentinel logo. He's got a molded gun, very similar to this guy. He's got a knife over here. Looks like he's got what should be like a parachute. It's interesting, the straps, this is one strap, but the front is painted black and the back is painted just a solid gray. The rest of it is. So that would have been nice to have all this painted, but for a cheaper price point, this is what you get. Looks like I didn't notice this before, but he's got a little bit of blonde hair at the bottom of the helmet. Now, I was very surprised to see that these guys had more than 5 joints. I was expecting 5 points of articulation, so I was surprised that they had more than that. This guy does have a neck joint there. Same arm, same elbow, shoulder joints as the first figure. Same elbow joints. Doesn't quite go all the way down. Same straight crotch joint. Knees bend 90 degrees. And he does have wrist articulation, full 360. So there you go, there's that guy. No name on him, so you can name him yourself. Bob or Ralph or Joe or Frank, whatever you want. And then there's this guy. Just as long as you don't look too closely, he's okay, but as soon as you start to inspect his face a little more, you can see that his hair is not fully painted in the front. They just kind of went over it with his flesh tone, so it's a little sloppy there. His eyes are okay. The rest of him is right here is fine. So he's got this like black vest thing going on, and it's supposed to continue down to here. This part should be painted black, but it's not. It's painted green just like the rest, which is a little lazy on their part. Yes, you can really tell in the back here. Look, that just looks bad. So all of this should be black around here. Come on, True Heroes. It wouldn't have taken that much. He's got a silver belt buckle, a lot of pouches here. Green, subdued green camo. He's got a knife here, a gun molded on the side. Another pouch here, maybe a canteen. He's got the same articulation as the previous figure. Neck joint left to right, shoulder full 360, elbow 90, doesn't quite go all the way back down. Straight crotches joint on the legs, 90 degrees at the knee. And that's about it for this guy. there's not much to say. There's no biographical information on these figures on the packaging, which is a little disappointing. Would have been nice to maybe have a little something to go on. So I guess it's up to the kids to come up with their own story for these guys. Obviously these don't match up to a G.I. Joe vintage or modern, but they will suffice for a lower price point, and you can have them in the background as background figures. Maybe if you have a play set, you can have them, you know, doing stuff behind your main characters. And now it's time for Will the Figures Fit? First, let's look at the figures it came with. As you can see, this guy fits in the seat pretty well. However, he can hold the gun, but it won't point straight away from him. It's always pointed at the side. So you gotta kind of make him look in the direction that his gun is pointing. But he fits, and the pilot fits just fine, as expected. Here's the ATV with the figure on it. It fits very well. You cannot use this figure because his hands, he doesn't have wrist articulation, so he can't hold on to the handlebars. You can, however, use the other two figures and they both fit just fine. And all the figures will fit in the treehouse. And for those of you using vintage figures, they do fit well in here. I've got Heavy Duty here. He sits perfectly fine in the seat. However, the handle for the gun is much too big for his hand, so I would not recommend trying to put a vintage hand on the handle there. He's just kind of holding onto the gun for support, but he fits just fine. And two vintage figures will fit in the cockpit. I've got Wild Bill and General Flag in there. And here we have Heavy Duty on the ATV. He will fit in the seat. However, the handlebars are much too big for his hands, so I've kind of just got him holding on to the brakes there for support. But he will fit. And I was able to get General Flag and Heavy Duty into the treehouse just fine. Probably could fit one or two more figures in there if you wanted to. And here we have modern figures in the helicopter. I've got Spirit here manning the gun. I was able to get his hand onto the handle. However, we have the same issue we had with the other figure in that the gun is pointing towards the left and won't point straight ahead with the figure. So you've got to kind of make him look where the gun is shooting if you want him to hit what he's shooting at. But he fits in the seat just fine, as with the other figures. And I was able to fit Duke and Breaker in the cockpit with no problem. I have Rise of Cobra Breaker here, and as with Heavy Duty, his hands are a little too small for these big handlebars. I have him holding onto the brakes, but he will sit in the ATV just fine. And I was able to get Duke and Spirit into the treehouse just fine. This playset did come with some accessories for the figures. First, we have this helmet. Looks like a something you could see in maybe World War I. It's got the Sentinel 1 logo on the top there. Looks like maybe a gas mask of some kind. And it seems like it would go on this guy since he's not wearing a hat like the other two. And it fits on pretty well. Seems to blend in nicely. So there's that. There are two of these gray grenades that are sculpted nicely. It's some nice detail on there if I can get it focused. However, the figures cannot hold these in their hands. They're just, it won't work, so not much use for these if the figures can't hold them. So there they are. You've got one giant green gun here. Some nice detail. One thing I forgot to mention is these all came on a accessory tree, so you will probably see these little stubs after you take them off, which can probably be filed down with a knife or something if you really want to. There's a silver gun here, a silver backpack, some nicely molded detail there. Seems like it would go best with this guy, Mr. Steel, and it fits in pretty good. A small pistol, small gray pistol, grayish silver. This gun here, don't know the name of this one. A shovel. You'll notice that the handle is thicker in the middle so that the figures can hold it. The figures have pretty big hands compared with G.I. Joe, so holding it down here, you can see it kind of slips and slides, so you have to move their hand towards the middle to get a better grip. But it's still a nicely sculpted shovel. A tremendously long green rifle, and at first I thought there was no way these guys can even hold this in any useful way, but then I figured out, oh yeah, they have the wrist articulation, so they can hold it like that, which I guess is better than nothing. Just watch out for any lamps. One big silver knife and one set of binoculars, which is nice. You don't see a lot of binocular accessories, unfortunately. It's not easy for them to hold this. Doesn't really fit in their hands very well. Kind of falls right out unless you keep it there and don't move them. You can find this at your local Toys R Us. It retails for around $40. I highly recommend it if you're on a budget and looking to add something to your display, or if you're simply looking for something for your kids. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.